On my days off in Munich, I accomplished most everything I set out to do. First was doing laundry, then I went up to the BMW Museum and I got to see Elvis's restored 1957 BMW, a true piece of art. I also did a little bike maintenance. I exchanged my front tire to the rear to the front, and got everything aired up and ready to go. Of course, it was raining when I left Munich, and it rained off and on throughout the day. It rained off and on most of the night. I got a lucky break. It must have stopped raining sometime in the early morning, and the wind was blowing, so my tent, the fly, was completely dry. I got packed up dry and I was on my way. I really expected I'd be camping in the rain again tonight, but once I got to where I was going, I Googled it, and it turned out to be a horse park for people with horses. So I started looking for a pension to stay in, and eventually I found one, and I am so happy because within minutes of me getting inside, it was just torrential downpour with thunder and lightning. Today was going to be a long day. I knew the first 40 kilometers were pretty much uphill, and in parts were extremely steep. But once I reached the top, basically I had about 65 kilometers downhill all the way into Stuttgart. And so I worked my way to the top, and the way down was a breeze. Towards the end, I was getting a little tired, and also it started going back up and down. But that's part of cycling, and just suck it up. I made it to my campground inside of Stuttgart, and it's the same campground that Donna, Dorothy, and I camped out 2 years prior. Why I didn't shoot any video today, I really don't know. I can understand the first part because I was just going uphill, struggling. The latter, I'm really not sure, but I didn't. Today was going to be a very hard day, and I knew it. I had looked at the map and the terrain profile. It was going to be miserable, and it was miserable. I did 48 kilometers, and it probably took me 6 hours plus on the seat pedaling to do that. I kind of wish I would have had someone along with me to enjoy it, because I learned a technique when I was in boot camp when I was 18 years old, that all you had to do is look around, see everyone else suffering, and you get a little glee out of that, and your day wasn't as bad as what you thought it was. I know that sounds cruel, but it's reality, and if you try it, you think it, and you use it, trust me, it works. Today was supposed to be kind of a simple day. I knew I had about 5 or 6 more kilometers climbing, then I was going to level out, and I was going to try to push and get a good 50, 60 miles in, but I just had nothing in the tank, and I was hurting, and I had the strength, but I just didn't have the mindset, and I don't know what it was, but I was pretty sure that maybe I needed some electrolytes. I needed something, so I pulled up short, and I'm glad I did because it rained hard again, and I checked myself into a room, so all went well. Today was going to be a very short day. I only rode 28 kilometers, just enough to get to a campground in France and set up camp. When I arrived in France, there were billboards posted showing German occupation during World War II. I don't think the French have quite let go yet. Anyway, with that said, I was lucky. It rained all day, and I still managed to set up my tent when it wasn't raining under a very large tree. And I had my fingers crossed that this would keep a lot of the water off of me because it has just been storming for a week. And I also would get the opportunity to take my meds and let them set in. And the plan is to reach a hotel tomorrow and take a day off and just relax. I got to camp, and it had pretty much stopped raining just about the time I got there. And I set up my tent under a big tree, so if it rained later, hopefully the rain wouldn't penetrate my rain fly. The next thing I did is I started taking the meds that I'd picked up earlier in the day at the pharmacy. Within 30 minutes of taking the electrolytes, I have to admit I immediately started feeling much better. So I took off and went over to a grocery store and picked up a little food for dinner, and sure enough, by the time I exited the grocery store, it was raining. And it rained on me the rest of the night. And when I got up, it had stopped raining briefly. I got my tent down, but of course the rain fly was soaked, and I rolled it up in my tent, and so now my tent's wet. But I really didn't care. I was heading to a hotel. And it rained hard for, 10-15 kilometers. And then I reached a canal system, and it has just been a wonderful ride and truly enjoyed it. I made it to my hotel where I'm going to be spending a day off, and I have just enjoyed it. I woke up the next morning, and of course it's just pouring rain again. But tomorrow when I leave here, it is supposed to be sunshine and hot. Here's the proof why I don't have one of those nice, soft, squeaky voices. I'm kind of like the Sasquatch type of person. Anyway, I'm happy as a clam right here. It is not raining. I've got my rain gear off, which is like a first in many, many days. It looks like it's threatening. It's strapped to the back for easy access, but right now it's not raining. I'm just pedaling along on a nice flat surface. Cycling just doesn't get any better than it is right now. On my day off, which is Sunday, I've been reviewing my routing, the navigation, blowing the maps up on my computer so I could see where I'm actually going to be. Looks like I'm going to be following this canal system and a couple of others most of the way across France. I've got a few hills to climb, nothing serious, I hope, fingers crossed. But then, once I reach Belgium, it's going to be flat. And it's going to be flat all the way up to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam to Frankfurt, fairly flat. There'll be an upward trend from Amsterdam to Frankfurt just because I'll be going against the flow of the Rhine River, but it's going to be better than what I've been doing. The other thing is, it's not going to rain. And in fact, the temperature is going to get quite warm, so I need to be cognizant of hydration. And hopefully,